It's time for the Glendale Devotional Podcast, a 5-minute weekday devotional ministry from Glendale Baptist Church in Glen, Mississippi. The speaker is John Haynes. Now, here is Brother John.
As we continue our countdown to Christmas, we consider once again the shepherds. Shepherding is seen as a favorable profession all throughout the Bible. However, as you might imagine, shepherds were not necessarily considered to be the upper crust of society. They were sometimes seen as backward country folk with little or no formal training in areas such as education, people skills, or the typical social behavior. After all, they spent most of their time outdoors. It is very possible that many of them had become so accustomed to living a solitary life that people even kind of got on their nerves. They were hard workers. They spent a great deal of time thinking as they watched their sheep. And I'd venture to say that many of them had much more common sense than some of the quote-unquote scholarly people of their day. Listen to what Luke recorded concerning the shepherds in Luke chapter 2, verses 16 through 18. They hurried off and found both Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. After seeing them, they reported the message they were told about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary was treasuring up all these things in her heart and meditating on them. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had seen and heard, which were just as they had been told. I can only imagine what it was like that night. Oh, sure, the normally quiet Bethlehem had now become quite busy and pretty loud from all the people over the region who had come back to Bethlehem because of the census ordered by Caesar Augustus. But perhaps all of the people had gone to sleep, they were tucked into their beds, and they were just wondering what they'd have for breakfast the next morning. Meanwhile, the shepherds kept watch over their flocks by night. It was an ordinary night as far as the shepherds were concerned. This night probably seemed like any other night, watching for the occasional wolf or other predator, all the while trying to stay awake themselves. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord stood before them, dressed and arrayed in the brightest light that they had ever seen, the visible glory of the Lord. In fact, the light was so intense that it surrounded the shepherds. And the scripture says they were terrified. Think of how we would be. It's quiet, it's dark, it's still one moment. Then the very next moment, surrounded in the very glory of God, I'm quite certain that they had never seen anything like this before. So now these shepherds, these rough and rugged men, became instantly afraid. And like so many other times when angels appeared before individuals, the angels spoke to the shepherds, "Don't be afraid." After hearing the good news of great joy that will be to all people, the birth of Jesus, and finding where they could see this Christ child, then a multitude, a countless choir of angels praised God. Now I want to fast forward just a bit to when the shepherds went to Bethlehem to see the Messiah. They saw the Son of God wrapped in swaddling clothes, just like the angel had said. They saw Mary and Joseph and the joy that filled that simple barnyard stall. I can just hear the shepherds going through the town and loudly saying something like, "The Lord, the Messiah, has been born for you. Listen, listen, God has given good news." And this good news means great joy for all people. You see, the shepherds told whoever they could about the best news they had ever heard. And you and I, as followers of Jesus Christ, have the same obligation to tell not just about the birth of Christ. We have something even more important to tell: the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus. So let us be faithful to tell the good news of Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for listening today. We'll be back tomorrow for our last program before Christmas Day. I hope you'll join us then. Have a good, godly day.